Day one at Mobile World Congress Barcelona is drawing to a close, and we've just had the final session at the Mobile Media Summit here in Hall 8. A bracing session from Lisa Donohue from Starcom and Lou Paskalis from the Bank of America. Thank you very much, guys. It was a really interesting session, and so much talk about, the battle for relevancy, the role of data and all of this. Do you feel like as an industry we're getting closer to nailing mobile?
I think so. I don't think it's a choice, right? I think we have to figure out, Gartner says that 70 to 80% of all digital interaction by the end of this year will be in a mobile environment. So we really don't have a choice. It's not if, it's how. I think the difference is we need to take a marketing mindset versus an advertising set into the environment to really compete for people's attention.
And I couldn't agree with Lou more, but I would just add that I think we do need a greater sense of urgency, because candidly the North Star for us is the consumer, and the consumer is still way out in front of us as marketers. So we have got to keep them as the North Star. We have to move with greater urgency, but we absolutely need to think of it as a marketing platform because it is that big and that transformational.
Well, one of the interesting things I thought you talked about was the emergence of these new interfaces between consumers and brands, and the old way of engaging it's going to disappear. Whatever they become, aggregators, I think you described them in one sense. What impact do you think that's going to have on marketing?
Well, I think it's going to make marketers focus more on the relationship, which is really the most important thing anyhow. Once you enter into a relationship with a customer as a brand, you really have a covenant, right? And so the question is, how do we take that covenant that we have and build it out so that it's not just based on the core value proposition, but it's the enhancements, the thing that we can do around that relationship that bring more value and utility, that create brand love. So whether or not a payments platform moves into the background, there are still so many other things we as marketers can do to remain in the foreground with consumers, but we need to start experimenting with those now so that we're able to remain relevant in the future.
Well, and it's interesting because there are so many adages about marketing and advertising that aren't brand new today, but are actually so much more powerful. And again, relationship is one of them. So the thought of having a relationship with the consumer is not a new thought. However, when you have an incredibly personal device like the mobile device, and then can do so much more with messaging, we actually can have that two-way relationship and have longevity of that relationship, as Lou talked about, versus just a single transaction at a point in time.
There's a huge amount going on here, 98,000 people. It's a big event, but as you're saying, you were at CS fairly recently. You must see these events all the time. What excites you about some of the stuff people are talking about, the developments and innovations in mobile at the moment?
I think we're really moving beyond the transaction. We're really starting to think more holistically. It's the most personal device in human. It's the most relevant and personal communications device in human history, and people are really starting now at least to talk about the opportunity that creates. That's going to create more doorways for marketers to figure out how to stay relevant on that platform, and I feel like the ship has moved past if mobile, does mobile pay out, do you advertise in mobile, to now are you marketing in mobile, and are you really solving for customer needs in mobile? And that's the conversation we as an industry need to have, because Lisa's absolutely right. The consumer is way out in front, we're playing catch up, but now at least we're having the right conversation to catch up.
And actually the other part of what was at CES and a big part here that is related is absolutely virtual reality. And when you think about VR and what it can do to relationship building, and it is just experience to a whole nother level, but it's also a very personal experience based on how you interact. So I think that's hugely exciting, and I think we're really just going to see that escalate in this year and into next.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much both for your time, and really enjoyed the session. Hope you enjoyed the rest of the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.